Gump report. Number 2. You've already seen my Jey Uso video. This is number 2. Serena Deeb. If you haven't heard, go to Just Alex's channel and you will see the Instagram video that he watched and his own thoughts on it. I won't leave a connection below to the Instagram. I don't think I can do that. But let me give it to you like this. I've always said when it came to the women in AEW, they needed more. What happened with Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida? Honestly, I felt that Hikaru Shida could have gotten more out of it if she had lost her mind. And Serena Deeb was not the bad guy. But they made it about her being the bad guy going against a Hikaru Shida, which worked to a certain extent. It wasn't like they didn't do their work. They didn't do the job trying to sell it with their matches and the attitude they both had. But honestly, I felt they could have done something more. And then when Jade Cargill won the inaugural TBS championship, I felt it should have went to Serena Deeb. But at that time, we realized that Jade was not ready. And Tony Khan was so high on her, he created a title just for her, which I believe was not the wisest thing. You got someone who's incredibly green with a brand new title that needed to be elevated by somebody. And she had to bring it up with herself. And by the time she was done, and she worked hard. I'm not taking anything from Jade Cargill. I love Jade. She's in WWE. I'm happy for her. This is the decision she made. She will become a much better wrestler being in that organization right now. Do I believe that they'll book her correctly is an entirely different situation. I want to make this clear. There's a difference between getting spotlighted and getting trained. AEW has a lot of people that used to work in Impact Wrestling, WWE, WCW, a few people in ECW. A lot of the people you know are working in AEW just like in WWE. They all go over the place. There's no lie about it. So she got a good amount of training for the last couple of years. She goes to WWE. She's going to get their style of training, their understanding of how to do promos, how to construct a promo, how to use the mic, how to see yourself in front of the camera. She'll get way more better training than what she would if she was in AEW. And when she's done, whether they use her correctly or not, she can take that and go wherever she wants. She can plug that mess in because she will be more developed and trained. But she should have never got the TBS title. Either Ruby Soho should have got it, or I know not many people like her, Madison Rayne, or in this case, a Serena Deeb. I truly believed they needed a veteran to hold that title. If it wasn't going to be Athena, it wasn't going to be hell. If she had left earlier, a Taya Valkyrie would have been great to have that title, a inaugural title. If it's not going to be Athena, it's not going to be Mercedes Martinez, it's not going to be a Madison Rayne or Serena Deeb, I would have loved to see a Taya Valkyrie. But we didn't get that. They just kept it on Jade until she left. But then it was Serena Deeb. And I truly felt that Serena, the professor, should have been the one that claimed that damn title. Because she was on such a great roll when she had finished with how can I say this? Once Serena Deeb finished with Hikaru Shida, and she was being spotlighted pretty well, I felt that she could have gone and plugged into the TBS tournament. No. What happened, as far as I understand, is this. By the time we finally stopped seeing her, we found out through the video, just Alex saw, that she had 3 seizures. Let me say that again. The girl got 3 freaking seizures. 3 of them. Now, she doesn't describe that she get them back to back to back. Like one seizure, then another one, then another one. But it's obvious that she probably had one seizure, then later, after she seemed to be all right, she got another one and another one. She was no longer being seen on AEW television. And that's where I was getting, where is Serena Deeb? Is she hurt? Where the hell is she? Well, she said in her video that she wanted to be off the grid. She wanted to be private about it. which I understand. That's the right thing to do for yourself if you're a pro wrestler who's very well prominent, and something like this happens. You just don't want people to really get into that. There's several wrestlers who have major issues that if they really want their business kept quiet, they just disappear. Some do that. And she's one of them. And I respect her for that. But she did say in Instagram that now she's 100% cleared and she's able to go back to doing what she loves to do. And that's go in the ring, which is great. But the way she spoke is going to be a big question, because she said there's some good news. Because what happened, that's bad news. But there's good news, I am not cleared to wrestle. But there's another bad news, guys. Because this is what I think is going to happen. We don't know when she's going to be ready to... She's cleared, but the question is when Tony's going to put her on TV. Whether it's going to be ROH TV, Dynamite TV, or Collision TV. We don't know where she's going to appear first. She might appear on... She probably will appear on ROH, which I don't think is a wise thing to do. She could appear on Dynamite or Rampage or even Collision. I think I said something else. Sorry if I didn't say Dynamite, Rampage, ROH, or Collision. One of them I probably messed up, but the point is, we don't know where she's going to appear first. And the biggest problem I'm going to have is her booking. Guys, let's make this clear. AEW has terrible booking for the women. So bad, it is ridiculous. No one is booked correctly. There's only one person, that has gotten over and is being booked correctly. And that is my Tasteless Toni Storm, which is Timeless Toni Storm. She's the only one that managed to develop herself with a weird-ass character and got over as a 40s and 50s movie star and diva. She's the only one. Everyone else just doesn't feel like anything. We still have Abaddon on the main roster. Abaddon. And what have we done with Abaddon? Nothing. Now, I'm not saying that she was working all this time. Maybe she was injured, like a Serena Deeb is out because of the seizures. We don't know. But there's so many women on the main roster that barely get seen on the main roster. We don't even know who they are. Look, Abaddon, we haven't seen her in so many months, I barely remember her. Yeah, we have one moment during one of the pay-per-views, I believe, or before the pay-per-view where we saw once, but that was over a month or two ago. And before that, we hadn't seen her for many, many months. We haven't even seen, who are the ones we haven't seen? We haven't seen we've seen Red Velvet because she just came back. Lorena Saphir, we don't see her. Taya Valkyrie, we don't see. I believe Penelope Forbes is still on the roster and she's not hurt, I think. Bunny is gone. We don't have Bunny anymore. But then we still have all the other women that are on the main roster that never usually get seen on Dynamite and barely seen on Collision. They're probably seen on ROH TV or maybe Rampage. Which Rampage is less seen than, literally, less seen than Collision is. It's on Friday, right at the time, just after SmackDown, and barely anybody watches it. The one you'll see more is Collision than you watch Rampage. And whoever is there is basically seen by nothing. And it may have maybe 400,000 or 500,000. But I think Collision has more views than maybe by 600 or 700, barely. And I'm like, what are these women doing? These women deserve better. We got a whole bunch of women on the main roster that we don't see normally. And they got no storylines. They're just doing matches. Look at Emi Sakura has been there from the very beginning. With majority of the women that started in AEW. Emily Sakura right now supposedly a queen. Do we even feel her character? No, the only thing she does is take off her hat and throws it at a security officer. Do we even care about her? No, but she's one of the better wrestlers in there. But the kicker is there's no storyline behind her. You cannot tell me you cannot book Joshi, I believe they're called Joshi, wrestlers. And you can't give them storylines. How can you have these women who have certain looks, certain characters, and you're not trying to promote their stories? You can't tell me they don't do it in Japan, because they do. It may be much more subtle than Americans or Europeans, or when it comes to maybe Mexicans, when they do Mexican wrestling, European wrestling, they do it. And you're telling me you cannot improve on it by exaggerating it slightly more so at least we will have real stories with these damn women? I don't get it. You're in America. You must give these women the opportunity to be seen correctly. And we're getting none of it when it comes to the Japanese wrestlers. The only person that got something is Hiro Kushida, and it counts on what's going on with the American and European wrestlers when she's added in there. Are you seriously telling me you cannot book this woman correctly? So now, going back to Serena Deeb, when she comes back, where is she going to land? I don't know. She may end up on ROH. She may end up on Collision. That would be alright. She may end up on Rampage, which won't be good. And she may be seen finally on Dynamite, where maybe they may just state briefly that she had an issue where she was very sick. Maybe she might be willing to talk about it. But they may cover what happened. May cover that she had 3 seizures. I don't know. But I do know this. She deserves way more than what she might get. Because I don't see the booking done correctly. I'm like, look, we know that the ones who Maria Bennett is the one who books for ROH. Now, I haven't seen ROH in so many months. I don't know what's going on. But who is booking for the mainline show? Is it still Kenny Omega? Or is it somebody else who understands how to book the women? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. Which promotion books the best for women? Which one? Is it AEW? No. They only got one woman they book correctly, and that is Timeless Toni Storm. Is it WWE? No. Because the only ones that matter to the WWE are the ones that are already on top, and everyone else is just an afterthought. That is Bayley, to a certain extent, because she's been diminished a lot working in Damage Control. Maybe they will be making it better, but still. Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, and to a certain extent, Asuka. Asuka is like here, Bayley is like here. You got Becky, well actually Bianca, Becky, then Charlotte. That is how they are. You got more than 30 women on the roster. And those are the women that they care about. But their bookings in many cases sucks. Now you got Impact Wrestling, which will turn to TNA, which the knockouts, weirdly enough. And I'm saying this as someone who's reviewed AEW, WWE, WWE's NXT, and even looking at MLW and NWA on and off. When I haven't seen it in a while, I saw one episode that was 133, 132. I think I did an episode on that, or 33. I can't remember. But TNA Impact, for the knockouts, have generally been the most innovative, the most willing to push the envelope. They're the only ones. I'm not even telling you they're doing it great either. But they care more about the women than anything else. They make sure the knockouts are being promoted way more than WWE is, WWE NXT, and AEW. That's the truth. I'm kind of wishing that Serena Deeb would just leave AEW and go to Impact Wrestling. I know she's not going to get the same money as they. Look, let's make this clear. We know Will Ospreay was given an offer, and he turned that down. We know that CM Punk was offered, and he turned it down. I'm sure that the money they both were offered was here, but AEW and WWE was here. Both of them were somewhere around here. Easily. So, Impact Wrestling just does not have the budget. But let's make it clear. Do they book their women better? Yes. It may not always be great booking, but they do book them better than what AEW and WWE is doing. So I wish she's not there, but she's coming back to AEW, and it's going to depend how long her contract is. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe Madison Rayne will tell her, hey girl, you're not happy here. Why don't you go over to Impact? Well, TNA, by the time, the end of this month, into next month, it will be TNA. Well, technically, Final Resolution is the final time they will use Impact. That's in a few days from now. TNA. Go to TNA. I bet you they'll open the door for you. They did for Trinity. And I'm kind of wishing that when, that's if, not when, if Mercedes Moné's contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling is done, instead of going to AEW, where I do not believe she's going to get anywhere, I would rather go and work with Trin in Impact Wrestling. Yes, I know it would be great to see Mercedes Moné versus a Saraya. That's something we know must happen eventually, because the last match they had, Soraya's neck gave out on her, and it wasn't intentional that Mercedes hurt her. But many people are thinking because of that situation, which saved her life, because if she had not dealt with Mercedes, she wouldn't know how bad she was and had to retire and then finally get the help she needed to not only clean her life up from the drugs and everything, but also to get her neck right and to find the right man that she fell in love with, and I believe she's engaged to be married. That, I believe, is the best thing, that eventually that happens. But it shouldn't happen now. Serena Deeb, we still don't know where she's going to appear. But to be honest, I'd rather her appear briefly. She asked to be out of a contract and go to Impact, where at least she stands a better chance at having something more than what she's got now. And I'm not even saying it's going to be great with Impact, because they still do a lot of tapings. They need to do live. Hopefully they will when they go to TNA, but that's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this Gump Report, this long-ass talk. You never know what you're going to get in my show. Peace.